Number 10. The 1918 sighting. It's fitting that we begin recounting the Megalodon sightings with a blast from the past. One of the most popular and hard-to-refute sightings of the cannibal shark comes from 1918. Since there was no widespread use of cameras, there's no footage, but what ichthyologist David G. Stead recounts is his posthumous 1963 book that speaks volumes louder than any picture. In the book, Sharks and Rays of Australian Seas, the author recounts the horrifying experience of crayfish fishermen in Port Stephens. For the local fishermen, it was a typical day at the Broughton Islands when they saw a huge boiling in the sea. Now, they were used to whales emerging in the seas there, but what they had saw that day was not very common. When their pots of crayfish were gulped down in mere seconds, the men in the sea were convinced that what they were witnessing was a beast underwater. Since the fishermen were in the deep waters, there was no escape. And that's when they saw a ghostly white shark that was 115 to 130 feet long lurking in the water around their fishing grounds. The fishermen recount that the proportions of the sea creature was enough to send shivers up and down their spine, and by the looks of it, the mysterious shark took its sweet time around the crayfish pots, its appetite so big and ravenous that it might have wiped up everything down the water. In the book, David mentioned that the fishermen had also seen the head of the shark, something super monumental in the visual and anecdotal evidence of the megalodon we have today. As far as the accounts go, only the mouthpiece of the beast was at least as long as the roof on the wharf shed at Nelson Bay. That sounds absolutely terrifying. Even though these fishermen were masters of their game, what they saw haunted them for weeks. They refused to go back to fishing, and their businesses plummeted. And this is why David was inclined to believe their story. These seamen knew everything that swims around the oceans, from white sharks to whales, yet what they witnessed was something out of the ordinary, and it resembled everything that they knew about the great megalodon. That's when everything changed for them. Perhaps the shark isn't as extinct as they thought. Number 9. The New England Sightings. Here's the thing, you may not be inclined to buy into random accounts of the Megalodon sightings, but when it comes directly from the credible Shark Institute, it's only fair to reconsider your next diving adventure. Most experts believe that the super predators have been extinct for 3 million years now, but what the Atlantic Shark Institute saw on their sonar changes everything we know about the ever-enigmatic marine life. The researchers of the Institute were caught off guard when their sonar showed a starking image of a shark that didn't register quite easily. After all, the sea creature was about 50 feet tall and weighed about 40 tons. Does that ring a bell? Well, if you like to tune into the Discovery Channel here and there, you'd likely know that historically, the megalodons were also 50 feet tall and had teeth that were 7 inches long, making them the most dangerous predator under the sea. Atlantic's Fish Finder is located off the coast of New England, and the team has developed the habit of witnessing something bizarre here and there, but the distinct head-to-tail and the dorsal fin silhouette of the mysterious sea creature was as incredible as terrifying. While the sightings of the Meg have been debated more than the moon landing, more and more evidence keeps piling up, and most of it seems to debunk that the sea predators are now extinct. Not to mention, the Atlantic shark researchers weren't the only ones witnessing something earth-shattering in New England. A year earlier, a viral video of the larger-than-life shark had broken the internet, as many experts found themselves at the loss of words for what they were witnessing. The shark was huge, and it left people scared and gawking. Interestingly, the sonar that detected the Atlantic's shark is not far off from the sighting ground either. Is it possible that researchers and bystanders had witnessed the same super predator lurking around? It's not unlikely at all. Not to mention, witnesses and researchers alike are convinced that the megalodon is back. Number 8. The Mariana Trench Sighting. If we had to take a bet on the possible habitat of the megalodon, we would put all of our money on the Mariana Trench, because the deepest spot in the ocean is the perfect hiding spot for the deadly sharks that want to snack on whales. And as much as we'd like to keep them deep into the trench, the super predators cannot help but to make their appearance crystal clear on camera. In a video that challenged everything we know about these creatures, we can see a huge predator lurking around the shark cage, and let's just say it closely resembled the infamous shark that is allegedly extinct. The expedition in the pits of the Mariana Trench was specifically designed to explore the secrets of the deepest part of the ocean, mainly because it'll make the perfect hiding spot for the megalodons, and it makes perfect sense. If there was a vlog on the day in the life of the Meg, it would go like this: eat, sleep, repeat. And that's about it. The scientific research on the super predators tell us that after they snack on large sea creatures like whales, they don't lurk around in their hunting grounds for long. They're more likely to go back into the deepest realms of the ocean, which seems to be their permanent home. And their location couldn't be better than the Mariana Trench. The video shows the shark making its way into the trench like it's nobody's business. Shark experts believe that the megalodons can survive in any climate due to their colossal size, but it's the equator where they thrive in warm temperatures. So did we witness a megalodon yet again? It seems to be the case. Number 7. The Google Maps sighting. Well, we can't realistically reach every nook and corner of the Earth, but Google Maps have eyes everywhere. Turns out the app isn't just only useful when you can't navigate the city you've lived in for years, it's also out there debunking the claims of experts when it churns up some rare sightings of the megalodon. And let's just say, the shark experts who believed in the predator's extinction got defeated by the app. The still imaging navigation system of Google Maps allows us to travel the Earth, and that's when the satellite system caught the faint but noticeable silhouette of a sea creature that fits the description of a shark. But not just any shark. You see, the silhouette is huge, and normal sharks as well as the white sharks don't normally pop onto the satellite images of the ocean. The abnormally large size of the sea creature that seems to beat all records can mean one thing and one thing only: Google Maps might have caught the most realistic satellite image of the megalodon. Now, we can't see the super predator's 7-inch teeth, but it's the size of the beast that has left everyone flabbergasted. Google's satellites are miles and miles away from the Earth, and they're only sensitive to catching on to large creatures that are visible from such gigantic distances. There's a reason why the Great Wall of China is visible from outer space, and your measly apartment building isn't. Trust us when we say that the shark experts tested out all the theories on the silhouette, almost as if they didn't want to believe that they are witnessing the allegedly extinct megalodon. First assumption was that perhaps it's a whale shark lurking around the waters in the Bahamas. That theory quickly went down the water because the silhouette doesn't resemble the whale shark at all. And by the size of it, it's not some average Joe shark either. The size of the Google Map shark is 58.7 feet, and wait till you hear the size of its fin. Only the fin of the megalodon is around 5.3 feet. Yep, even those stretches in the gym couldn't help you beat the size of a shark's win, but hey, let's give credit where it's due. You don't take the moniker of a super predator by being average. So, don't know about you guys, but next time we're in the Bahamas, we'll think twice before taking a dip in the ocean. Number 6. The Pacific Ocean sighting. An oil extraction company stumbled upon something so historically groundbreaking that it would have altered the way we measure the dangers in the sea. And they didn't pay much heed to it because, witnessing fins and sharks deep under the Pacific Ocean, that's pretty much textbook. The company was looking to install an oil platform on the Pacific seabed. Under the ocean, a series of specialized robots were sent, and there's only one way to oversee their progress through HD cameras, of course. Call it a mere coincidence or a miracle, but the engineers in the company were not expecting to witness this at all. The appearance of the mysterious sea creature happened in the blink of an eye, and yet it's not that easy to miss. People don't exactly get to see the megalodon in action. The whirlwind of the shark would have destroyed the entire installation. What we see is the fin of the shark that was luckily caught by one of the cameras attached to the robot, and that's incredible because that isn't just any fin. The size of the fin is as tall as 10 feet, and that's almost twice the size of 2 average human beings. Just this detail about the mystery creature tells us that it's not as mysterious as we think. Normal sharks or whale sharks don't have fins as large as this beast, so when the engineers took expert opinions on their shocking yet accidental discovery, they were left astounded. It all comes down to the process of elimination. The only theory that could describe the size of the fin defies all odds. It's possible that we witnessed the existence of the dynamic megalodons that were said to be extinct. Even though the shark makes a brief appearance, the size of its fin is quite irrefutable, not to mention the location of the discovery is quite apt as well. The installation was being worked upon in the deepest pits of the Pacific Ocean, and that's exactly where the Meg would also be lurking. So, as far as believable theories go, we're convinced that we just stumbled upon the super predator Megalodon. Number 5. The Megalodon Tooth. In the quest of finding the truth about the Megalodon, just don't wait for the shark to appear itself. That'll take a lot of time, and you can't exactly outrun the predator that can gulp down an entire whale in 5 bites, right? The most fascinating part of the Meg's autonomy is its teeth that'll put any saw chain to shame. They're about 7 inches tall, and even the small nibble of those teeth can cause some deadly damage. They can easily penetrate into a whale's skin, and well, if the Meg is eager enough, it'll cut off the tail in mere seconds. And if you find broken teeth as sharp and as big as we've described, there's a huge possibility that you've stumbled upon the Megalodon's hunting grounds. Something very similar happened to HMS Challenger, a former decommissioned British warship that was turned into an oceanographic mission. The Challenger's biggest duty was to embark on a new age of sea exploration, and boy did it do its job. The year was 1875, and the ship was busy dredging a seabed near Tahiti when it pulled up a pair of teeth that left everyone in shock and awe. Perhaps it was more of the latter. The dredging mission had not dug in too deep, so to encounter a set of teeth meant that the sea creature was not exactly as prehistoric as it may seem. And perhaps the creature is still around. A series of tests were run on that set of teeth, and the preliminary results would show that the HMS Challenger might have hit the gold mine. Those weren't just any shark teeth, they actually belonged to the dangerous, lethal, and predatory Megalodon that was believed to be extinct. The tests also showed that carbon dating on the teeth went back to 10,000 to 15,000 years, and that could mean only one thing: Megalodons are not a thing from our distant past. Not too long ago, they were swimming around off the coast of Tahiti. And as species from prehistoric times still lurk in the ocean, what makes us think that Megalodons won't? Plus, the carbon dating is a far cry from the timeline when the Megs went extinct almost 2.5 to 3.5 million years ago. So the map is quite simple now, isn't it? Number 4. The Brazilian Sighting. A rescue mission could have gone south if a mysterious gigantic sea creature would have decided to take a little snack time. Off the coast of Brazil, the waters were highly turbulent and rough when the Coast Guards got a call for distress. Since the stormy weather was dangerous for a waterborne rescue mission, the authorities sent a helicopter, as well as a rescue boat and a swimmer. Sure, such swimmers are trained to even beat the roughest of waters out there, but to walk by a predatory sea animal, a slim chance. The mission was successfully underway, and the guards were a split second away from making the final safety run in the waters when the ocean began to boil. That meant only one thing: other than the harsh waters, there's another threat that was looming around, and it might not be as forgiving as the ocean itself. The cameras installed on the chopper recorded something spectacular. A rescue mission was being conducted right next to the hunting ground of a shark that they had never seen in their extensive marine training. Under the deep waters, a shark at least 65 feet tall would be lurking around, and the size of it was enough for anyone to conclude that the rescuers in Brazil were in the Megalodon's den. The footage was so groundbreaking that even the Discovery Channel featured it in its prime documentary on sharks. All things considered, the Brazilian sighting of the Meg is the magnum opus of the contesting yet popular claim. The Megalodon isn't extinct, and as there aren't any active human exploration missions that can mess up their habitat, it's unlikely that they're going anywhere. That made ocean exploration even more of a dangerous pursuit. What's really terrifying about this footage is that the Meg swims right next to the stranded boat in the ocean and the rescuer swimmer, and the fact that the shark almost hit the surface of the ocean is even more frightening. Chances are that the stranded man in the sea was bleeding, or worse, he was stuck in the shark's den. Either way, the Megalodons are overly protective of their home, and when they smell blood, they can't say no to a little bit of snack time. That time, perhaps the shark decided to let bygones be bygones and did not attack the boat or the humans that were surrounding it, but not everyone would be as lucky as the Brazilian rescuer's mission. Talk about saving a life, and shaking the foundations of marine research. Number 3. Baby Megalodon in Australia. You know what's more dangerous than a megalodon? A megalodon's family. These mammals are not lone wolves, and they prefer to stick together, live together, and even eat together. When the TV famous marine biologist Colin Drake was shooting for Discovery Channel's Shark Week, he hit a career-making jackpot. His newest exploration site was Australia, where the government had issued a legal order to kill the predatory animals in the sea due to the high death toll of divers and swimmers alike. Drake's preferred method of taking raw footage for his documentary was a shark cage, so the predators couldn't make contact with the crew. One of the fortunate divers was Martin Isaac, who witnessed a shark lurking around that wasn't supposed to be there. The intruder was bigger than the sharks in the area, so both Martin and Colin were convinced that they were finally witnessing a great white shark with some skin conditions because it didn't resemble the great white, but the size was convincing enough. Until the shark took a swirl in the water and Colin noticed the weird pointy feature on its fin. Again, the great white does not have any points on their fin, but you know who does? The mighty Megalodon. The crew would be in shock. Had they made a groundbreaking discovery without even intending for it? It was quite possible. A closer look at the footage would reveal that the shark didn't have any skin condition whatsoever, but there were bumps on its structure, and that was another striking feature that it shared with the super predator. Now, the shark itself was not as huge as an adult-sized Meg, but its bodily features fit the description. It seemed as though Colin's team was witnessing a baby Megalodon that loved to swim in warm waters. And even though they're strong and can fend for themselves, their mother Meg doesn't abandon their baby. By all means, a full-size Megalodon was nearby. It just didn't cause any scenes because its baby was quick to leave the premises and perhaps swim to its sanctuary. Number 2. Mexico's Black Demon. Mexico has its very own fish story, and beware, it's just not another myth from the sea to scare the fishermen. If you ever visit the Gulf of California, the locals will tell you about the El Demonio Negro, or the Black Demon, that lurks within the waters between the Baja Peninsula and Sonora. It's a tale that's as old as the sea itself, and from generation to generation, children learn about the sea monsters that can gulp entire whales if they so choose. At a glance, it's easy to dismiss the story as being a legend, but its historical grounds date back to the voyages of British sea merchant John Hawkins, who was absolutely derailed when he witnessed a demonic sea creature. After all, even after his extensive voyages, he had never seen a shark as big and fins as tall. It's hard to recount what Hawkins had really witnessed around Mexico, but skip a few centuries into 2018 and down the line where Eric Mark witnessed something equally horrifying. He had heard the stories of dangerous sharks that lurk in the Sea of Cortez, and so far there have been many historical sightings of sharks that are not very typical in their behavior or color. What Eric saw was quite similar to everything the local fishermen had said about the Black Demon. They're erratic, taller than 50 feet, and destroy everything and everyone that comes in their way. Now, Eric is an experienced fisherman, so when he saw the beast underwater, he knew that he was looking at a megalodon. While the contesting evidence has always called the black demons just black whale sharks, nothing explains the brutality of everything fishermen describe. Whale sharks are friendlier than many, and they can't gulp down the entire school bus if they want to. Plus, their biggest size goes up to 49 meters, and they are not black for sure. Eric seemed to confirm the legend of the Gulf of California. Under the sea does live a beast, and we call it the Megalodon. Number 1. The missing case of a great white shark. In November of 2003, a team of shark researchers joined hands to make robust discoveries on the lives of sea predators in southwest Australia. They wanted to study their seasonal change and behavior up close, and they decided to embark on the life of a 9-feet-tall female great white shark. After the shark was tagged, researchers began to learn a big deal about the sea temperatures, how it affects the animals living beneath, and more. Everything was going smoothly up until about 4 months later when the tag stopped sending signals. The last collected data showed that the female shark had taken a sudden dive of 2,000 feet into the ocean, and the spike in temperature went from 46 to 78 degrees. Later on, the tag was seen on the shore 2.5 miles away from where the shark had first been tagged. Scientists were baffled. The only thing they knew was that their shark had been eaten alive, or, more appropriately, been gulped down in mere seconds. That made matters worse because it's not easy to eat a 9-foot-tall shark, let alone prey upon it. The spike in temperature was 32 degrees, which meant that whoever had eaten the shark, it had a warm and hot stomach. Yet the internal temperature was not hot enough for an orca or even a cannibal whale, and it was certainly too hot for a white shark. That left only one theory: what type of sea predator could eat a fellow shark and has a massive size for hot internal temperatures like 78 degrees? The answer was clear as day, but even the researchers were too frightened to even consider the possibility. All fingers and research pointed towards a haunting discovery. Their shark must have been eaten by the Megalodon, the super predator, and the rest was history. Did you enjoy the video? Give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon.